How's it going, everyone? It looks like we have a potential new PlayStation Plus leak, and this one might be pretty relevant, so we'll talk about that. Bit of a sales update on Stellar Blade as the game is continuing to do well, and we've got some details about Greedfall 2, The Dying World. The game will be hitting early access, and then it will be seeing a full release later on. I think it's a game that people should have on their radar, and it is scheduled for a full release in 2025, so we'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, there is a listing for a PlayStation 2 emulated release of Star Wars The Clone Wars for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It is reportedly due out on June the 11th, and that would be right around the time that the PlayStation Plus Extra catalog would be updated for the month of June. Usually it happens at the midpoint of the month. June 11th would be a little bit earlier, but kind of goes in line, and this could be a potential new PlayStation Plus premium title. Now, unlike previous PlayStation 2 on PS4 classics, this title will feature the enhancements that a lot of those classic releases that hit PS Plus Premium do feature. This offers new features such as up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. The listing from the PlayStation Store, as spotted by PS Deals, notes, experience Star Wars The Clone Wars, originally released on PlayStation 2 consoles, enhanced with up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. You are thrust into the heat of the battle in the galaxy's most unforgettable conflict. Lead the Republic Army in the greatest battles of the epic Clone Wars as Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Take over where Episode 2 ends, play out the greatest battles of the epic Clone Wars, 16 single-player missions on 6 expansive worlds from the Star Wars universe, pilot 5 unique craft, a Republic gunship, speeder bike, fighter tank, assault walker, and even a Maru against over 30 different combat units. Missions range from intense close combat engagements to enormous large-scale battles, 4 entirely different multiplayer modes: team-based strategy, deathmatch, King of the Hill, cooperative endurance. And it notes this title has been converted from PlayStation 2 version to the PS4 and PS5 consoles and provides newly added features. Consequently, there may be times where the title plays differently from the PS2 version, or where some features may cause the title to not function properly. This version does not support the PS2 console's peripherals, therefore some functionality may not be available. Offline multiplayer is 2 players. Now, it's interesting because PS2 on PS4 games, or just PS2 classics, let's put it that way, hasn't been available. At least new ones haven't been coming out in a while. If you look at the PlayStation Plus Premium catalog updates, they've very much been PSP and PS1 games, which is fine. There's a lot of great games from that era of gaming that you could pull from, and you would have a PS Plus premium content updates forever. Literally, if you can get the licensing deals done, you would have content updates forever, as far as, you know, the repertoire of titles PS1 and PSP have. But if you had PS2 games and you're going back into the vault and we can get games like, you know, some of those classic PS2 games that are no longer available, that would be great. The PS2 is widely considered by many, and I don't think it's too much of a stretch to even say this now, the greatest console of all time. If you really look at the library of games available on the PlayStation 2 and how developers and publishers were churning out games back then, where it wasn't this 5-year, 7-year development cycle for games, you had Ratchet & Clank games coming out every year, and top-level Ratchet & Clank games coming out every year. It wasn't like, you know, these games were bad even with a yearly release. You had Jak and Daxter games coming out consistently. You had Sly Cooper games coming out consistently. The PS2 has a wealth, a bevy of high-caliber titles. All of those franchises that I just mentioned outside of Jak, Sly Cooper is not available natively on the PlayStation 4 or 5, and then the older Ratchet games not available on the PlayStation 4 or 5. Ratchet's interesting, and so is Sly, because there was the HD collection on PlayStation 3, but given that, you know, PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility feels like a pipe dream, can we at least get those PS2 on PS4 titles, you know, the original titles just ported to the PS4? That would do me a lot of good. At least, you know, ask some trophy support, ask for the little things, and I think that could be pretty good. You know, Dirge of Cerberus, your boy would love some Dirge on PS4. That would be killer, but who knows if that'll ever happen. At least one step in the right direction with Star Wars The Clone Wars seemingly getting added to Plus Premium here next month. Alright, moving on from that, Stellar Blade, as far as Famitsu sales charts go, is #1 in Japan yet again. For the week of May 6th to the week of May 12th, Stellar Blade sold an additional 13,033 copies ahead of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Endless Ocean Luminous, Ring Fit Adventure, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Minecraft, Princess Peach, Showtime, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Splatoon 3. My god, is Nintendo just cleaning house? That's all Nintendo titles, and then you'll just have Minecraft at number 7, the Nintendo Switch copy, and what else? Yeah, it's literally all Nintendo except for Stellar Blade at number 1 and a Nintendo Switch copy of Minecraft. And outside of Stellar Blade, everything is Nintendo Switch releases, which is just insane. That console is a effing juggernaut over in Japan. But Stellar Blade, 13,000 copies sold, continually to sell more and more copies, and I think this is a game that over the course of the year can escalate in sales. I do know some people may be a little bit hesitant to spend $70 on the game, but I do really think that it would be promotional and business malpractice to not piggyback on the successes of Stellar Blade and get this going as a legit IP. It is so hard to create that infrastructure for fandom in an IP. These days, when you're talking about a $70 game, a PS5 exclusive, we've just seen so many games come out that were new IPs, big budgets attached to them, and absolutely flop. Forspoken, Callisto Protocol, Immortals of Aveum, Wild Hearts. I can go on and on. These games, it's very difficult as a new studio, an exclusive release, a $70 game. All of those things work against you in today's gaming climate to pop off, but Stellar Blade has popped off. So when you have an IP like that, you latch onto it for dear life, and we know that there is a lot of marketability, a lot of promotional aspects to Stellar Blade, you know, to say it in the politically correct way that can really incentivize it. Eve can be a legit mascot for PlayStation, and given that we're just one game in and a PC release hasn't happened yet, the actual trajectory of this franchise can be so much bigger than it already is, and right now it's already a slam dunk home run. An 82 on Metacritic. I said that if this game settled at the low 80s on Metacritic, slam dunk home run. This is a game that inherently I thought was gonna have trouble as far as critical reception goes, just because of some of the aspects of the game, but it did pretty well from a critical reception and from a sales standpoint, crushing it. And once that PC release happens, even if, you know, it's not going to do as well as if the game came out day one on PC, it'll still do fairly well on PC, I do believe, and that'll just increase the popularity of the franchise even more, a potential franchise, and, you know, it'll be a while before we get a Stellar Blade 2, probably, you know, 2028, 2029, given the dev cycle of games these days, but they've got the infrastructure in place. Now it's just time to build upon it, and you've got a W on your hands. And again, if I was Shift Up, if I was PlayStation, I'd be latching onto this for all it's worth, because you've seen other exclusives, they do okay, but there's a lot of PlayStation titles that come out and don't crush it. You know, Days Gone ain't getting a follow-up title. Rise of the Ronin did okay. It seemingly did fine, but it didn't blow anybody away in terms of the reception and the critical reception of the game. Stellar Blade, for a new IP, unknown studio, crushing it as far as that's concerned. Lastly, I do want to give you guys a heads up on Greedfall 2: The Dying World. It will be hitting early access in the summer of this year on PC. That'll include the first chapters of the main quest and first companions as well. Future updates will include new regions, new companions, new local and main quests, new skills, new customization options, and much more. That'll be PC only. The full release will be happening on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. I personally enjoyed Greedfall 1. I thought it was a pretty decent little RPG. You know, if you compare it to the top-level RPGs these days, is it as good as some of those big titles? No, but if you're okay with a AA RPG, I thought Greedfall 1 was a pretty suitable title, and if they can build upon the successes of this game, and by the way, this game takes before the events of the first game, so you can play it no problem, I think they could have something that can at least be a worthwhile game, and going into early access, hopefully the fan feedback will elevate what they do out of the game as well. But that'll do it for me. Again, good news for PS Plus Classics. Looks like PS2 titles could be seeing a return, and hopefully we get more ports of that, because we all know PS2, quite possibly the greatest console of all time. I don't think it's any stretch to say that. Stellar Blade selling very well in Japan. That continues to trend very, very well, and I think speaks well about a potential sequel. And Greedfall 2: The Dying World hits early access this summer. Future updates will be dropping later on, and the full release in 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.